cheese head. I love cheese. Maybe this will attract some of the mice at my house.
The carburetor life's a little easier to get started, huh?
Apparently. He got baptized by a streetcar.
Boy over here, LS life, my whole life, so all this is new to me. It's turning an LS kid into a small block Chevy kid.
You're becoming a man. Shall we start it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can start it. I gotta wait on that drive shaft to cool off. It'll just leak a little bit of training fluid. It didn't leak much when we had it.
If it's in park. Shouldn't. Slapper
When you get an engine for this thing, it'll be 5.0 capable.
Oh, I know it will. Probably got some trash in the needle and seats.
We flushed the lines out, but
I tell you what, that is a good looking carburetor. Shiny. What do you think?
I like it.
I think it's gonna sound pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get some exhaust on it. Yeah, just so before people comment. I've still got the old mufflers off the truck.
What is it, Thomas?
I said before people comment, the exhaust is not there yet, so that's why it doesn't sound the greatest yet, but it'll sound good.
Well, it sounds better than it has for the last 6 years.
Get the drive shaft in it and we'll be able to back it out.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we literally didn't do anything to the carburetor, we just filled it with fuel.
Bolted it on.
Yeah. So tell your story from earlier. You guys unhooked the coil wire and it still started. Surprised you guys. I just wanted to see if it had spark, and I had Robbie unhook the coil wire, and it was probably that far from the coil, and it jumped all the way over to it and started up anyways, like immediately. We didn't touch the carburetor, didn't touch the distributor, nothing. Just fired right up like it had been running for 20 minutes.
well, yeah, I mean, you can set a distributor but not a cam sync.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can set a cam sync and not a distributor.
Yeah. We could. We know our roles. I don't know how much timing's on it or anything. It's probably at 20 to 30 degrees, I would guess.
It'll need to have about 40 in it to run decent without any boost.
It don't have 40. It's probably around 20.
It does after I turn the distributor.
Oh, okay. You turned it.
Yeah. It's the first thing I did. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we'll just have to make some slight modifications to the cold side, and I think we can get some exhaust under it.
It's gonna sound good with exhaust.
Oh man.
You can
It's
tell.
gonna be a neat little car, man.
It's gonna be cool. It'll be something you'll be able to get in and go have fun with, and
It's gonna be quiet, I think.
I
don't know though, because that old exhaust, it was pretty loud.
I mean, it'll probably be reasonably fast for what it is.
I was thinking it'd probably run 620s on 10 pounds.
It'll go faster than that.
On 10.
Yeah, but isn't it 10 about all it's got before you're...
No, it'll probably make 15 maybe for a few passes.
It'll hold 15 pounds.
We'll find
If
out.
it's tuned right, it'll hold 15 pounds.
We'll go wideband on it and everything.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't have too much timing in it, it's not too lean or not too rich. I mean, as long as the tune-up is where it needs to be, there's no reason why it probably wouldn't hold 15 pounds of boost.
Well, you got another blow through to play with. So.
Yeah, but the difference is now I can drive it and tune it myself.
And you can hook your laptop to it and do what you need to do.
It's on 16 volt now.
Yeah,
it's got
and we can data log with that box.
It's got a grid.
That's nice.
So you can data log, you can pull timing on the hit, you can pull timing wherever, you can pull timing for boost. You can have traction control with that little add-on thing if you had a drive shaft sensor.
It's a pro mod with drum brakes.
The grid will actually do a lot, and the 8 box will fire off methanol if you ever wanted to put it on methanol. So it's got fuel lines and a pump to run a decent amount of horsepower on meth.
Oh, you guys got the back seat back in it.
Oh yeah. The only thing that's not in there's a passenger.
It's got all brand new Dash 12 fuel lines. I'll MIG it here, and then once we get to the shop. Like
Holy crap, that's almost,
It's close.
jeez.
Watch probe it around too much.
That's crazy.
And then like this one, I think we're just gonna cut it off like right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have to retwist this pipe to get it right. But I think we can make it work. I can get it right down there beside the oil filter and the steering.
You want to start it again real quick? Make sure it's starting. The battery's showing 17.2. It's got without it.
Engine out of your freaking pickup truck in high school.
That'd be fun. It's low, but like everything on this thing is used. Literally everything. Like down to the fittings. Like we tried to use up all the spare fittings that we had off of shit that we were never going to use, like spare fuel filters, and it's all spare parts.
Except
Spare-
that icy carburetor.
Spare distributor. I did have to put a new cap on it that you had over there. But that was also spare. Like spare lines, T.
Yeah, that's
Off the old shit.
truck.
I had to remake this line, but it was spare. Spare water pump. Brand new carburetor.
It sounds good.
It does. I think it's gonna sound really sick.
I can't believe it.
Wait till we force some air through it. It'll sound even better. I don't think it would look good with fender exits with this. I think it'll take 10-12 pounds all day. Probably run low 6s. Probably go 9, mid to high 9s.
You go low 9s.
It will. On more boost. It'd probably take about 20 pounds to go. 890s, low 9s, something like that.
You got to get hold strange and get brakes coming for it, because right now, like, it's barely safe to even drive the speed limit.
I like
It
to
was
put
so
some
bad.
nice seats in it.
I think I've got some mufflers down here I took off the Malibu we can use. I burn up so many mufflers on that Malibu. I don't know if I've had 2 or 3 sets of them on it now, but the nitrous has just burnt all the packing out of them, and then they get so loud I can't stand it, so I throw another set of mufflers on it.
There's a brand new set, should be under the bench there.
Pipes with the mufflers.
That's what needs to come off Tig's truck right there.
That's them.
We'll be making all this work.
Might as well reuse it.
Yeah.
I love.
I'll have to check see if the fuel gauge works.
Yeah. Did you hook it up?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I love that it has a stock gas tank in it again. For years it's had a plastic fuel cell in the trunk, and I absolutely hate looking at a Nova. And when you look at a Nova and you look right through here and there's nothing, it just looks naked for some reason. It looks terrible without a stock tank. It's badass.
Alright, so Dad wanted a stock tank back in this thing, so I ordered a stock tank from Jegs with a sump, and I welded the sump on, and then we put all new fuel lines and fittings, and used my old pump out of the S10 when it was on E85. It's an old Weldon pump, and then we ran these fuel lines, put a return here in the top, ran these fuel lines, and Robbie did a really nice job. Yeah, you should see the fuel lines that come out of this thing. This is some old fuel line.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what even is that, you know?
Some hose, some like garden hose.
He just took whatever he had, you know, I think, and push locked it together. So this will be a lot better now. Eventually I'd like to mini tub it. That way we can fit a 10-inch wheel on it, because right now we're limited to an 8-inch wheel. But
here's the thing about mini tubbing, and I don't think we're going to be able to mini tub it, keep leaf springs. Because if you move the leaf spring in, then you have to get away from the stock tank, because there's no
we have to
room.
do ladder bars.
Yeah. We'd have to do ladder bars or ladder bars.
And that means probably a chassis shop. I don't know if I'm comfortable putting ladder bars in something.
Why? I'm sure you do it.
I don't know, I'd have to look at some other Novas that have it done. I don't know if it's acceptable to just go right to the frame connectors here.
If you weld them in. Right now they're just stuck in there.
Yeah, I mean, we could weld them.
For some reason I don't think that pinion angle's right. It looks to me like when that thing plants a tire, it goes way over center, which is probably why it always had a little drive shaft vibration going down the track.
Probably need some shims. One shim. Looks like it's got something under it, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's been so long, I can't remember what's in it. I mean, I know it always worked good, but it was traction bars. It doesn't have any choice to work good. Carburetor life's a little easier to get started, huh?
Apparently.
The damn thing fired up by accident.
Yeah.
You couldn't not let it start up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, pull that off of there and let's see if it's got spark. I said, I'm not holding it. So I just let go of it and let it flop there, and it was, I mean, it was that far away, and it was like, tack, tack, tack. I was like, I told you I wasn't holding it. And it fired up and was jumping back and forth and it idling. I was like, whoa, shut up.
I can't wait to hear it with exhaust on it and get the cold side all hooked up. And
Yeah, it won't take us but a day, probably.
this thing's gonna be a blast.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Once exhaust on it, you'll never know that it's even turbo, really.
That's how Billy's truck was.
it's
You
gonna
would
be
never
quiet.
know it. Probably get a strange master cylinder and do away with the stock brake lines. I paid big money for that stuff back in the day. It came from Wright stuff. It's
Yeah.
all stainless steel, factory
That's,
bent lines.
Chad,
Chad's dad.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah. So the guy that owns On3 Performance that helps us all the time, his dad owns a company called Wright Stuff, and it's brake lines, like factory pre-bent brake lines for like antique cars and trucks. And so like 30 some years ago, they had a little shop up on, I think it was Cleveland
Walnut
Avenue or Walnut, I don't know. Up here north end of Columbus, over near Polaris. Polaris wasn't there at that time, but they had a little shop up there, and I went up there and bought all brand new, like factory bent stainless steel brake lines, and they're still on the car. But they're gonna have to go away because we got to make room for exhaust now. But
Does it have a line lock?
it used to, but it quit working years ago. It'd be nice.
Carburetor's pretty spot on. Like sitting here revving it up, idling it. It's pretty. Sounds like
And when I revved it, like it's still like the needle and seats are sticking because it's got trash in it. But once it clears out, you can tell it's right there.
Yeah.
It actually sounds good when it's rich like that, but it won't sound like
What's
that
the
when it's
deal?
right.
Can we take this thing around the block, or?
Not quite. We need to put some exhaust on it.
There's no hood latch yet.
No hood latch.
The hood doesn't latch.
We'll take it around the block and drive it once we get everything done.
But we really, you're like, be very careful because this thing has like 0 brakes. It's drum brake, factory drum brakes all the way around. And not, you know, the fastest I ever went with it when I was racing it was like 1056 or 1057. Yeah. So I've got to call into Strange, and they're getting me a price on a new 9-inch rear end housing and new Strange disc brakes. And they're a brand new set of brakes that they haven't actually come out yet. I think they had them on display at PRI, if I'm not mistaken.
It runs and drives again. And it's
yeah,
sitting here
it
at
can
ride
move
height.
itself.
Like,
Yeah, it can move itself in and out, and like it's been stuck in the lean-to since when the lean-to went up, and before the lean-to it was sitting outside.
hopefully we'll have a new building here soon. That way we can do some more repairs.
Almost need to clean the other end of the lean-to out
Oh,
so it has
for
some place
sure.
to go.
Some body work on it this winter maybe.
The car has sat for a long time, and part of the reason I was never interested in doing anything with it, and honestly part of the reason I wanted to sell it, is because I did a lot to help you get started, and for the longest time I didn't think that you guys would probably ever do anything to help me. I just been rough, you know. So I just wanted to let go of it. I was just gonna sell it. I didn't think this would ever happen. It's really cool. Thank you guys.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. I feel like we have many plans yet to come. Like, we just got this thing running. You guys are actually, I can see you guys really making this car nice and restoring it.
590 index at Edgewater, come on.
I'm excited about this whole project. This whole time I've been excited about it. So I said to your dad, this was like a monster garage project. It got brought in and it was like, oh, we got this here, we got this here. Like, let's put this on there. And it was very fun to do it.
I don't expect this engine to last forever, obviously, but you know, at least we've got everything to where, you know, the hard stuff's done. I really don't want to do this.
What's sitting in the garage?
That is something that somebody reached out to Kenny and set up, because I wouldn't have even answered, to be honest. I probably wouldn't have answered.
It's a nice car, dude.
It's not even rusty.
I
I'm not
daily
even-
that.
I'm not like a whistling diesel type where I like to tear up nice shit.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a fucking Crown Vic or whatever, but like it's pretty nice.
That's what I'm kind of. Maybe we should use your Silverado.
Right.
Yeah, that would be the more likely candidate.
Right. It's already smashed. air the tires up on it, it's good to go. They honestly should. They probably win. They're probably faster. That little 4.6 isn't going to keep up with that 5.3 in the shit wagon.
So there's a demolition derby, demolition drags tomorrow at National Trails.
Yeah, it's looking like rain this weekend. The demo drags is rain or shine. So that may be our only option. They're trying to stick me in this thing and drive it though.
So you don't want to because you think it's too nice? You don't want...
No. I just, I don't really want to get crashed into.
I don't either.
I really don't think that's going to be very fun to me. I like going nice and straight, not tearing nothing up, going really fast. That's slow, and we're going to tear a lot of shit up. I think that's more Kenny's speed. You know, I think Kenny should drive it. I think Kenny would have a blast. I don't want to wake up sore the next day. Getting like, I don't want my neck to be bouncing around and the door caved in, fucking break a rib or something. I've seen some people get hit really hard, you know. Maybe I'm getting old. That probably would have sounded fun when I was in high school.
You know, I gotta say, it is a really nice car, and me being the one that's always needing a daily, like, I'm almost like,
hey, can I have this instead?
Yeah, like,
don't tear it up too bad.
Right.
If you can, just bump them just real lightly, then go to the finish line. Yeah, the rules are you have to hit the other car at least once before you get to the finish line.
Wish I still had my Blazer.
So we got the Nova running. It's awesome just to see it back on the ground at ride height. You know, it sit there and it'll run all day. Like, the engine sounds really good in it. The cam sounds good. We're gonna put exhaust on it and redo the cold side, I think tomorrow or Sunday, whenever we get time. And it's gonna be a really fun project. I'm just really excited to see it running again, see it back to life. It brings back a lot of memories just seeing it parked there in the side yard, you know. I used to wash that thing like once a week when I was little to get it ready for the next race. Just seeing the car sitting there with the wheels on it that I remember it having when I was little, and you know, sitting there at ride height. There's an engine in it, there's a transmission in it. Like it hurt me to see it sitting behind the barn for 2-3 years with, you know, just some throw on there wheels and half the lug nuts missing. Like, I just didn't feel right, you know. Plus we robbed some shit off of it for my car and some grill stuff, some mounting brackets, stuff like that. So it's just awesome to see it back together again. I can't thank Rob and Kenny and Jeremy enough, Chumpy. Without them, we couldn't have done it. You know, we got it together pretty quick, and we weren't really like rushing or anything, but we were definitely working hard on it. You know, Rob did an awesome job on the wiring. It's got a really good ignition system now. It's got a lot of potential, you know. So that's gonna close this video out, guys. Appreciate you watching. See you next time.
Bro, I don't need you to give me any money on freaking No Limit, alright?
What's
I
going
will
on?
drive back. Oh,
This guy's got to do a test and tune race just so he has enough money to race me on here.
That's what happens when you got 18 cars, bro. Alright? I just need to sell a car and then we can run for 100K.
We can bracket race too.
Wait, I don't know how to bracket race like that.
What tree are we gonna run on?
That was pathetic, Tommy.
Junk.
Pathetic, bro.
J-U-N-K.
Getting put on blast. So there I was on SRC getting put on blast. You can't drive. Tell them in the comments. Y'all hit the comments. Tell everybody Jimmy Dale can't drive for shit.
We need to be live right now.
I haven't played this in probably a year.
Which car? Is that your small tire car?
I'll probably have to update it. Probably won't even let us race.
See in the comments. I can go way faster on these. What they're gonna say. You heard that? That bitch bogged out the hole, bro.
483.
This is the closest I'll ever get to running Billy at War in the Woods.
They got War in the Woods on there?
Bro, they got Track Creator.
No way.
9378 player.
Dude, I bet you I have to update this game because I don't know nothing about no Track Creator.
Loser does 10 push-ups.
Bet with 10 push-ups?
Bet.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
No! No!
That was actually
You
pretty
went
good.
at 70. You picked up 4 numbers.
Jimmy Dale was sandbagging.
Every time we bet anything for push-ups, your boy loses every single time, bro.
Uh-oh. On the gravel?
Yeah, bro. What's the difference?
He's a man. He's from Texas.
Nah, bro. I weigh 130 pounds. It's easy. All right. You want to go for another 10?
Damn.
Do it.
Just missed the tune up.
I turned all the kits on the big end. You see the flames coming out of that thing?
Picked up 2/10 to the 60 foot. That helped you.
I only went a 133 to the 60. But yeah, I shifted into second right away when I went red. I was like, fuck. That's why it was slow to 60 the first time.
Mine bogged second too. But no excuse. I got hooked up. Because I didn't have enough. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's hat.
Oh, Jesus.
Billy, you should wear it.
I'll wear it.
Cheesehead.
I love cheese. Maybe this will attract some of the mice at my house. Catch them.
That's what you need to get some traps and set them around the house with that on.
I will. Instead of buying a cat. It's not big enough for my head.
Yeah.
It's probably built for your head.
It's probably built for
Your head's a
Jimmy's
little
head.
bit smaller. You told him a medium.
What? You told him a medium? No, I didn't tell him medium.
Here, you put it on.
You think I ordered that? No, that's the homies over at Biggs sent me my carburetors.
Well, maybe you
It
should
kind of
put
looks
those
like
on your
the Cheez-Its
website.
logo.
I should put cheese hats
Cheese
on the
hats.
website.
Cheese
Check
hats?
out, you
Why
got
not?
Old Man Chroma dish, young Johnny Walker with the all blacked out dish. Still in first gear.
There's no way it's on all 8. Negative.